So we're continuing with the platformer project. I guess I'll just call it that for now. And the thing we're doing today is we're going to make a bomb. And that's going to take sort of what we learned last class about affecting other boxes and having that array list of boxes so that we can access them and do stuff to them. But more importantly, what we're doing today is the first example of extending a class in Fisica. And this is going to be really pivotal for like all the cool things that you can do with Fisica. It's basically we're going to take, well, today we'll take an FBox, although you're welcome to use anything. F circles actually work really nicely for bombs. The cartoon bomb, usually a circle with like a little wick coming out of it, and that's probably even better. But I'm just using FBox because we're pretty good with FBoxes right now. And yeah, I'm gonna give it a timer. And I'm gonna give it the ability to explode, but it's still gonna be an FBox, and that's great because that's sort of what we're gonna do here is a template for all the cool things we're gonna do with all the different kind of F bodies to give them AI or to give them some sort of animation or whatever that's not really built into Fisica. Our ability to sort of add stuff on top of that is really gonna start happening now, I would say. So we'll take a look at what is the end result, and then I'll actually go and that won't work so well for the YouTube video, but I'll go and delete some of the stuff as we go. So I just have a very simple bomb. It's just an orange FBox. If I drop it, it just kind of falls out of me and then explodes and like sends things flying all over the place, including my friend there, the blue player who's now disappeared. And it acts on boxes that have been blown up already or not, and it's just kind of good fun to blow things up. Yeah. It's like I lay an egg, basically, is what it looks like. Eventually, it'd be nice to destroy the player as well, like to send me off in that direction. So that would be good. But we're not really too worried about it right now. So to do this, again, we're sort of building on what you know already about the looping through an array list. So all that stuff is still true from what we did last class. But now we're going to take all that code and build it into a class. So that bomb is the thing that triggers it. And all I got to do is make a bomb in the code. Literally, bomb equals new FBomb, and we're good to go. So I'm going to delete my bomb class. I guess there's no harm in showing it. This is all it is that we're going to write. I'm going to delete it so we can kind of start fresh, because otherwise it would be kind of painful to kind of make this happen just by, unless you have a photographic memory, I think it would be kind of painful. So, yeah, classes. It's been a little while since we've done a class. Just a quick reminder about a class. That's what we did to make asteroids, like mini asteroids, right, or mini bullets. You want to have a class that represents sort of how to build something and sort of like the prototype of something, and then you can mass produce many copies of it. And each copy of this class will have its own set of data, and all you got to do is sort of specify what data does it hold, the instance variables. What does it look like when it first starts, the constructor? And what are the things that it does, the behavior function? So we'll do all those things. And check it out. Here's my class. I'm going to call it, in the tradition of Fisica, everything is an F something. So this will be a bomb, so it's FBomb. And that'll provide no end of pun entertainment for me as we drop FBombs and such throughout our project. And then here's the key, and this is actually a beautiful thing about Java and object-oriented programs in general. The toys that a library gives you, you can build on top of. And this is true about all the libraries we've used before. Like Minim, for example. You could extend those things that you use in Minim. I don't know what else we've used off the top of my head. But, p-vectors, you could extend p-vectors and add your own stuff to them. You can do all sorts of great stuff with extends. In this case, we're extending extends. I think FBox is what I'll do. But you're welcome to extend other things too. It's just an example. So when you do this, I'll put in my braces. You'll notice that it gets a little bit angry. It's red. And if you read the message, it's kind of a confusing one. Implicit super constructor FBox is undefined, yada, 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 must define an explicit constructor. So basically what it's saying is that we're extending FBox. So you'd better do all the things that FBox needs when you make this class as well. Not a big deal, but it's going to have to do with our constructor. Do you guys remember how to write a constructor? It's a function, but it's missing a certain word. What's it missing? So usually like void, draw. There's no void. You got it. Yeah, you got it. So I just write the name of the class. So in this case, FBomb. And then 2 parentheses. You can send information to it or not send information to it. I'll leave it as blank for now, but we can, in the future, kind of modify that. Next is going to be, it's still angry, right? If you click on it, it still is talking about some implicit superconstructor. And superconstructor, to me, sounds like some like enormous constructor. Like there's the Star Destroyers in Star Wars, and then there's a Super Star Destroyer, which is like so cheesy 80s terminology. But anyways, what they're talking about, the superconstructor, is they're talking about the superclasses constructor. And what is the superclass? It's whatever you're extending. So I'm extending FBox, right? So my superclass is FBox, and the superconstructor is FBox's constructor. So all it's saying is, hey, call FBox's constructor when you go do this. And we're good. So how do you do that? You just call FBox's constructor. What does FBox's constructor look like? Like this, right? You give it what information? Like the size. I guess I'll do grid size. Grid size. Except it still doesn't seem to work. And the reason is because usually when you call FBox's constructor, you use the new keyword, right? So when you're inside your class that is extending, for whatever reason they chose to do this, instead of typing FBox, you type in super. But really, what super is your superclass's constructor. So it really is FBox's constructor. So this is FBox constructor being called here. That's why we have to send it the 2 pieces of information. It's really no different than any kind of time we called FBox's constructor, right? If you will indulge me for a moment, check it out. FBox equals new FBox grid size, right? We need to send it the same information as FBox. It's just that inside of a what's called a subclasses constructor, if you're calling the superclasses constructor, you just use the super keyword. Fun fact, or perhaps more appropriately annoying fact, super must be the first thing. If you try to put some more code in front of it, like I don't know, like something here, there's no I, but like it'll just like get mad. You got to actually call super first. All right. So what that does is it creates. So the FBomb is the FBox, and it does all the FBox stuff. You know, like it makes the box itself, the physical properties, all those things are kind of done inside of this constructor. And all we got to do now is the typical kind of things we do with FBoxes. I guess we'll also add in our own additional information too. Like a bomb needs a timer, for example. I mean, you could just make a bomb that blows up immediately in your face, but chances are you'd rather set a little timer. You know, the good old movies usually have a big red old-fashioned timer that's ticking down, and they always like cut the wire when it says like 1 second or 0 seconds. Oh man, the drama. So we want to have drama as well. So I'm going to add in additional variables. I'm going to add in a timer. Timer's going to be an int. And this is what's great about extending FBoxes. There's no such thing as an FBomb built into Fisica. There's no block that has a timer built into it. So now we can build FBombs that have timers, and you don't have to keep track of some sort of separate external timer. It's all contained inside of the bombs. and in their act function or whatever you call it, they're just going to like count down the timer. So it's going to make for a easier development process as we go forward. So there's FBomb. What we'll do is we'll set timer to whatever default number you want to start off as. We'll just count down in terms of frames. So you decide how many frames you want. If you want it to take 1 second for that bomb to explode, then you could put in 60, assuming our frame rate is hanging in there at 60 frames a second. And then you can add in some properties for your bomb. You know how you usually do like set static, set position, set fill color. You can do all those things, but you might be like, well, how? Because there's no like variable here. Usually it's sort of like, b dot set something, but there's no b. So the answer is you can refer to the FBomb itself with this keyword. I had to like slow down because the grammar there doesn't work out too well. But this is a keyword that refers to the current FBomb that's being made. So if you want to say, hey, FBomb, you should be orange, and you want to do that inside of the constructor as opposed to outside of the constructor, like over here, like we're outside of the constructor. FBoxes constructor, we don't know where that is. It's somewhere in the library. And outside of it, we're setting static and we're setting fill color. But if you want to do it inside the constructor, you just say this. And see how it turns blue or greenish? I'm not sure what color that is. So you can say this dot set fill color, orange, or whatever color you want to have. This dot set position. You can do all those different things with the this keyword. You've encountered this a couple of times throughout programming. There was minim, had the this keyword, and there was I guess Fisica does this as well when we initialize it. So that's kind of referring to whatever sort of class you're in, the object that's being made. This object is going to be orange, and this object's position will be this, and so on. Very difficult to talk about it because this is such a normal English word. So, anyways, I think it'll be okay. So where do we go from here? We can add in the position. So where do we want this bomb to go? Probably like where the player is would be a good place, right? So when I set position, it's just like good old set position, nothing new. You can just set it to some numbers if you want. But I'm going to put it near the player. So I'll do, my player's called player1.getX, player1.getY. And I think that's going to be a bit of a problem because it'll just show up inside of our player. Generally speaking, when throwing explosive devices, do not start them inside your body. That is a poor tactic. I suppose we've seen that occasionally in the movies, like the Dark Knight, I guess. The Joker employed such a tactic, not with his own body. But I would suggest we move it aside from the player. You can move it above, below, to the left, to the right. I'll just move it over to the right. I'll just add some amount. I'll just add grid size, I guess. And we're kind of sliding off the screen here. I see no visible scroll bars. Gonna be hard to scroll over there. Oh no, there's a scroll bar. I just don't use eyes. There we go. So I just added a little bit to the player's X coordinate. And in the future, we can make it, you can throw it. We can give it some velocity. You can do a bunch of stuff, but we're not going to worry about that right now. In fact, actually, I would really like to make it so that we kind of launch it. That was the game when I was in high school that all the kids slacked off on. It was called Tanks. And you just start off as a little tank on a hill. And you probably played this. I've seen versions of it in like fun block games and stuff. And you can like move a little bit. And then you can launch a projectile. And it's just sort of like this little parabolic arc that it travels. And you can set sort of like the angle. You have to type it in back then. And type in the angle. Type in how much like power you want to use. And then it would launch the little explosion thing. And it would have a big explosion. And then the other person would die. And so that's how we wasted time in the 1980s and 90s. It was great though, because then you could go buy better bombs, and then the bombs got like ridiculous. They'd like have all sorts of like bombs that spawn like 100 bombs and like, it's kind of nuts. But anyways, we're not doing that project right now. Although, I kind of now all of a sudden I want to do that project, but that won't be right now. So we set the position. What else do we do? I don't know. Well, I guess we could set any property we want. Is there any property that we need to set here for the bomb? We got its position. We got its color. Static is by default false, so we don't have to really worry about that. So I think that's good. And then we'd like to add it to the world. Or, yeah, should we do it here? Yeah, let's do it here. So you can say world.add. Well, what do we put in the parentheses? How do we add our bomb? This, yeah. We can just add this. So when it's constructed, it gets added to the world. All right. So there we go. We can make an FBomb. It doesn't really do anything right now, but we could go ahead and add that in. Maybe we should go add it. Just make it work by pressing a key and make it added to the world. And then we can come back and make it explode. So we'll just leave it as a very boring FBox. It has a timer that does nothing right now. But we'll go check the other side of things. So you've made a new sort of class, a very basic right now. Let's go to the main tab and let's take a look at how is it that you're going to get your player to add this to the world or to like make an FBomb. And actually that's already kind of created. So I'll just show you the parts of it. So I have FBomb variable here called bomb. And I actually start off as null. That's actually the default. It is already null. But I'm going to use the null keyword for good use in this project. It's the first time we've actually wanted things to be null. Almost always, null pointer exception is the bane of our existence. So you can actually use null as almost like a switch. Like if the bomb is null, that means you haven't added it to the world yet. And if it's not null, I guess you did add it to the world. So that's a good way to sort of manage our whether we can launch a bomb or not. Eventually, you might want to add it so you can add as many bombs as you want. But we're just gonna have one bomb at a time. So once you add a bomb, you can't add another bomb until it explodes. So here's my FBomb variable. And later on, after I load the world, oh, I guess I added in the space key, but you can use whatever key you want. Space key is pretty convenient. It's my favorite of the keys. I mean, it's hard to pick a better key. It's the biggest one. I mean, what really compares to the space key? Like shift outnumbers space, I suppose. That's pretty good. You can gang up on it. They're pretty big too, but I don't know. I think spacebar could take them. All right, so I'm going to use space to drop the bomb. And I'm just adding in key pressed if the key equals space. I got a Boolean space key variable. And, same thing, key released, except I'm setting space key to false. Yeah? Yeah, this is all standard stuff, right? I'll just give you guys a second to get that done. I know you know how to do it. Let me just go and I'm going to just delete the stuff I had before. Actually, I'll just leave it there. Hey, if anyone wanted to see, I should do while I'm waiting for you guys to do that, I should do the video on how to do the movement. But that would be kind of stupid because then you'd have to fast forward to 11 minutes and 14 seconds to see it. So I won't do it. But hey, if anyone's like, hey, how do you do movement again? There it is. So let's do the actual dropping of the bomb. So if you have the space key sort of Boolean variable ready to go and the mechanisms for turning it on or off, here's how I drop the bomb. It's a zip. If space key equals true, essentially, or just if space key, it's fine because it is true or false. And if bomb equals null, in other words, I haven't made a bomb yet. If I haven't made a bomb, it's time to drop the bomb when you press space. Then it says bomb equals new FBomb. That's our constructor right there, and there's our bomb variable. So whenever I press a space key and bomb is null, I can add a bomb to the world. think we'll come back to this bomb equals null thing a little bit. You might wonder why that's important. And we'll take a look at why it's important coming up, but I think we'll just leave it as that. And I just want to mention right now that what we're doing, I sort of started this lesson talking about, oh man, classes, here we go. Finally, we can extend the Fisica physics library to make all these great things. What we're doing in the main tab, by the way, is just basic mechanics to make this bomb work. This isn't really any grand thing, although it's kind of a cool technique. And we'll probably use this, especially if you're going to be doing the Smash Bros. Game, for all the different kinds of attacks we're going to do and weapons. Like, I feel like this is probably a good setup. Because well, unless you're like E-Honda, you don't have more than one punch at a time. I mean, that E-Honda isn't in Smash Bros., but he has the famous 100-hand slap from Street Fighter. But I think everyone else pretty much has just the 2 hands, so we probably have to limit it somehow. I have some other stuff here that doesn't work yet, so I'm just going to delete it. But I'm going to just run the project and see if I can make a little orange box. You just like poop it out. Here we go. Space. Oh, look, I pooped it out. I made a box. Woo! And I can't do it again. It's made this one precious egg that I've laid here, and it's just kind of sitting there doing nothing. But proof of concept. It does like make a thing. And I'm sure you could think of all sorts of fun things to attach to this. A whole new genre of video game is born, I think, if you want to play around with what that is. If it's not a bomb, if it's something else, I don't know. So it's pretty ugly though, and it doesn't do a whole lot. So yay! Hey, and notice if we got rid of this right here, everyone taking a look at this. Just want to mention that this seems like it would be okay to get rid of that, and you would notice that you could have a lot of fun. You could have just a whole bunch of boxes pooping out there. It's like diarrhea of boxes, just whoosh. Like, how is that not fun? And you might be like, Mr. Pelletier, why are you ruining my fun? Putting that in there. That's so mean. I want to have like a bajillion bombs that all explode at once. Like, that's the definition of fun, I think, in the dictionary. But I'll show you in a little bit why that's necessary. Although down the road, if you want to like have a bajillion bombs, there will be a way to make that happen. So, but just not yet, not yet. Okay, so obviously our bombs are pretty boring. They're really just squares. I think crate might be a better name for this class. It's a crate. The classic thing in a platformer game that's like, you can push it around and move it around, but otherwise it's pretty useless. What's that? Oh yeah, are you like shooting it out so hard that you're like launching into the air? Yeah! Rocket Man! Woo! Yeah, it's pretty good, right? I think we should just stop class right here. We're done. We did it. We got the dream. Like, why are we talking more? I don't understand. This is now, what is this game? This game is Splatoon. And you just got to fill the space with, like, these colored boxes. But now I've trapped myself. Oh, my gosh. What will happen? What will happen, do you think, if I keep going? Physics is breaking down pretty hard. Fisica never gives up on the math. But this cannot happen. This universe does not exist where there is, like, all these things piled on top. Anyways, good job, Fisica. You didn't die yet. I'm impressed. So anyways, we'll stop being silly. Probably not that much, but we'll get back on task anyways. It's fun though, right? It's fun. So let's go and make our bomb do a thing. Let's go make our bomb tick down a timer and then maybe blow up at the end of that time. So I'm going to go back to the FBomb tab, and we're going to make, I would be okay if you were like, yeah, let's make the act function. That makes sense, but I kind of want to call it something more thematic with the bomb. But I guess I shouldn't, because maybe eventually we're going to have some kind of array list of these things, and we're going to tell them to act. So maybe I should keep it. Maybe I should not do that. We'll call it act. So yeah, void act. What does a bomb do? Well, basically it counts down its timer, and if the timer gets to 0, you blow it up, and you should probably like act on your surrounding boxes. The explosion code, by the way, is going to be just about exact cut and paste from the code that we used last class. to make the surrounding, everything that's within a certain distance, static get set to false, or set to false. Just one addition to it. So all we got to do is add in a bit more stuff for the timer. So I'm just going to do timer minus minus to tick down the timer. Remember, act is something that happens every frame. So every frame is going to count down by 1. My timer is 60, so after 60 frames, it will be 0. So I'll also check every frame if timer is 0. And if timer is 0, we should explode. And I'm going to make a function, because I'm done. This is, you might think this is kind of wishful programming, where I'm just like, I wish there was a function called explode. But actually, there's a term for this in computer science. It's called top-down programming. So instead of programming the explode first and then like surrounding it with a timer or whatever, that's bottom-up programming. Top-down programming is more about like just kind of naming the types of problems, kind of breaking it into smaller problems. So I've sort of just, it looks like procrastination, really. I'm just like putting it off to some other time. But that's how top-down programming works. You kind of solve one problem at a time. And the value of it, well, I mean, there's actually many awesome things that come from top-down programming. Just breaking a complex problem into smaller problems is its own reward of vast benefit that just makes programming easier. But also, we're not going to make our function so deep in the indents. Because what's this going to be? It's going to have like a for loop, and inside it's going to be an if loop, or if statement, and like it's just going to get deeper and deeper in the braces. Like it's going to be indented like into here. And it's just going to be harder to like figure out what's wrong with our code. So I highly recommend, instead of going further into the for loop, and just start continuously coding down, just call it something. And then you can start somewhere else and keep things nice and slim. Keep your functions not so like indented. There's I forget what the number is. I think it's 2. But there's advice that's given by a famous programmer that if you've indented more than, I guess 3 times technically, if you've indented more than 3 times, it's time to make a new function. Like just stop. You've gone too deep. It's getting too crazy. And I know we've all done that where we've got much further. Anyways, I'm making my function. It's called explode, so void explode. And void explode is just going to do what we did last class. Where it's going to go through that boxes array list, look for everything that's near the bomb, and then it's going to blow them up. So do you guys remember how to do that? I mean, you can just go over to your main tab. It's probably still there. And copy and paste that loop over into here. I'm going to just type it in. I'm going to say I'll do the for loop this time. For int I equals 0, I is less than boxes dot size I plus plus. I'll get an FBox. And if the Xbox, that's not what I'm talking about. If the FBox is near the bomb, then blow it up. So here's the one place where it is going to change. I'm going to say, if the distance between, and then this is where it gets a little bit weirder, because before we had the distance between the player and box B, right? So instead of the player, now it's the bomb. How do we refer to the bomb? This dot get X, this dot get Y, and then the the boxes that are the train are just B dot get X, B dot get Y. And if that's less than, well, you can decide now on the bomb's explosion radius. It might be nice to have different kinds of bombs. It could be like the C4, there could be the nuke. You know, they have different radii. But let's keep it simple for now. Just put in like 200. Even 200 is probably pretty wide. But I don't care. Wait, I think I got too many parens. I'll leave you to figure out the parens. But does that make sense, everybody? It's just kind of the same thing we had before, but instead of player, it's this, because it's in the bomb class. And now we're already kind of like, we're already breaking that rule. We're already indenting pretty far. So if it is, we should do something to those boxes. I guess I'll just do it here. So it's going to be the same kind of thing. B dot set static false. And there'll be a little bit more to it, but I'll just leave it at that. This is a good start. This just kind of causes things to crumble, really. It's not a bomb, it's just I don't know, like an entropy weapon that just like enhances like the fail state of all matter around it, which is fun. Everybody likes a little entropy. All right, so there we go. Void explode. I'm going to leave it there, and I think it's not done, but that's okay. I think the next step is, how do you make your new fancy FBox type things do their stuff? Like, how do I make my bomb work now? And this is going to be the same question for how do you make your Goomba walk or do its thing, or how do you make your lava tile bubble and animate itself? So it's the same kind of question. So right now we just got a single bomb, so this is a simple thing to do right now, although in the future it'll be a little bit more complicated. But right now all we got to do is tell our bomb to act. So over here we're going to do that. And if you thought it would be this easy, you are almost correct. But why does that not work? Anyone have an idea? I mean, you could run it and find out, I guess. I should have been a little more clear. Sorry, folks, I jumped. So I'll just recap, and anyone who's sort of just kind of catching up, bring it around up to the screen again. So we've made our FBomb class. We've even added in now an act function so it can do something. Usually we say, whatever it is, .act, whatever it is, .show. We don't need to show because the world does that now. So now I'm switching to the main tab, and I'm in the draw function, and I'm telling it the bomb to act. So what's wrong with that? I'll run it, and we'll see our good old friend. Oh. Hello, null pointer, my old friend. Here it is. Null pointer exception. Oh, no. Null pointer. But you know what? That's actually kind of nice. I mean, null pointers are never nice. Nobody likes a null pointer. But actually, that's not true. I lied. I do. I actually like this null pointer. This null pointer tells me I haven't thrown the bomb yet. The bomb isn't in the world. There's no bomb. So we should go, protect this in some way. So what I can do is I can turn this on and off with the fact that it is null or not null. You might have thought, I could use some sort of a Boolean variable, like is bomb or something, and use that as a true or false. No. All we gotta do is say, hey, if bomb, sorry, I'll put this down here. If bomb is not equal to null, go do this, bomb.act. I mean, you can put it all in one line. And that way, just making the bomb turns the bomb on. Bomb.act is like telling it to do your bomb thing. That's unique and is not an FBox thing. Then this is the not equals operator. You might not have used this very often in your career as a programmer. But it's not equals. Exclamation mark equals is not equals. So when the game starts, the bomb is null. So the bomb doesn't act, thus avoiding the null pointer exception. But as soon as we press space, right, look what happens. When we press space and the bomb is null, then we make the bomb, and then the bomb is no longer null. So then it starts to act. And it acts and acts and acts, and then eventually it will get to that magic number 6 or 0, I guess, and then it will detonate. So here we go. Pew! And then we're stuck. We can't make it again. Oh. And I'm gonna revisit that whole awesome rocket code we had before, right? And this is why we can't do that yet. Don't worry. One day will be there. But watch this. If I get rid of it, ready for this? You're going to think, oh, all the bombs. There'll be so many bombs. But you know what will happen? I'm going to just launch bombs everywhere. Just so many bombs. Why didn't they blow up? It actually did trigger the act. I'll go show you. I guess I can't do it now. Oh. So something happened there. But why isn't it happening consistent? Where's the explosion? I'm gonna launch myself off here. Where is it? Why isn't this whole thing collapsed? Oh, but something collapsed. So it seems like it's inconsistent. So let me take you on a short journey in the world of pointers for a second. No or not? What's going on is that every time we make a new FBomb, we're storing it in the same old variable. Right? We only have one bomb variable. We keep adding that bomb to the world, but the bomb we're telling to act keeps getting reset. So there's only one actual bomb variable. And that is the one we're telling to act. And every time we make a new bomb, that's the one that's bomb. The old bomb is still in the world, but it's not acting anymore. So it's always the last bomb that gets to act. And if you launch a new bomb before the old one had a chance to explode, too bad. That old one is now no longer useful. So that's a long story on how to fix it. It's not really a long story. We need to make an array list of bombs if we want to have many, many bombs that can all explode. But right now, if we just have a single variable, it doesn't actually work because we keep resetting the actual, B-O-M-B bomb, and all the other things in the world, they don't get to act anymore because it's always the most recent one that is the one that gets to do this stuff. We can take a look at that a little bit more in detail a little bit later. But let's go and just add that back in. I'm going to put this and bomb equals null back in here. And I know it's such a killjoy to do that. There's the bomb. Oh, it fell in. We have another problem here, though. You can't make new bombs. Bomb's not null anymore. There it is. It's not null. I can't make a new one. But we can make this work. We can just make bomb null after it explodes. That's probably the easiest way to do it. So here's how we can do that. I'm going to go back to bomb again. The bomb, FBomb class, sorry. So the tab over here. And in explode, what we can do is when it blows up, we can remove it from the world for one. So after we set static, we can say world.remove. How do we remove this bomb? With this. And then we can make it null so that we can drop another bomb. And I'm not sure if you could do this. I don't think you can. No. That'd be nice if you could do that. But we'll do that somewhere else. Oh, yeah. That's what we can do. We can just say bomb equals null. Bomb equals null. There we go. Oh, I guess we don't want to do it here, though, hey? Because we're not done. This is just blowing up a single FBox. That's not the story. Sorry, wrong place. This would give up too quick. Once we found a single box that was within range, we would set static to false, and then we would remove the bomb, and then it wouldn't do anything anymore. So actually, that's the wrong place to put it. We want to do it after the entire explosion is done. So after explode, that would be a good place to put it, right there. We'll remove the bomb, and then set bomb back to null again. I'll do that in the act function. How's this going, by the way? Is this making sense so far? Yeah? So again, remember, bombs are great, but this is mostly a template for how we're going to make future classes. So on this one, I'm giving you a lot of help, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. But the next time we make one, that you're going to have a little bit less help and a little bit less help, and so on and so on. So be like asking lots of questions if there's anything here that's not making sense. So, I mean, the null stuff I can see not making sense, and that's not going to be necessarily important in the future, but that's okay. So hey, guess what? It's going to work now, because as soon as the bomb explodes, the bomb will go back to being null again, so it won't be acting anymore, and it will be possible to make a new bomb. So I'll go in, and I'll add it in. Woo! I'll drop a bomb. It'll explode, and then it'll go away. And I can drop another one. It'll explode, and it'll go away. And it'll explode. I keep dropping bombs, and as I run it around, and then the world will like start breaking. It's not quite great though. It's like it's okay, but it doesn't really look like an explosion, right? Like if I do this, it's just like the world kind of gives up. It's like I'll just fall over. So we want to like launch the pieces of the world away from the bomb. So that's I think the last thing we'll do, and then I'll just let you guys kind of play with the bomb and add in some additional things. So how do we like kind of launch the pieces of the world away from it? This is good old the same kind of collision code we did back in the Pong project last year. Remember how we did the balls bouncing off of the paddles and that kind of stuff? So to figure out sort of the direction that's going in, we sort of took the difference of the x coordinates to get a vx and the difference of the y coordinates to get the vy. We could also make a vector to do this. We don't need to really rotate it at all, so I don't think there's an advantage to making a vector. Although I guess set and magnitude would be nice. We could sort of choose how big it would be. That's the one thing I think that would be pretty nice about a vector. But I think what we'll do is we'll just sort of we'll just set a velocity for the box after the explosion happens. So whatever the box is that's going to get exploded, I'll set its velocity. And we'll set it to Vx and Vy, which doesn't exist just yet. I guess it exists somewhere. But what we'll do is we'll make a new Vx. So I'll make, should this be a float? Don't think it matters. I'll make it a float. A flat? Not a flat, a float. Float Vx, and I'm going to make it just the difference of the x coordinates. And if you get this wrong, you'll make a implosion. And if you get it right, you'll make an explosion. Actually, right and wrong isn't correct. If you do it one way, you get an implosion, so things will kind of explode inwards, like a black hole sucking it in. And if you do it the other way, it'll explode outwards. And I forget which way is which. So let's just find out. Let's just do it. So I want to take the difference of the x coordinates between the bomb and the box. So I'll do, I think this is implosion. So I'll do this. This dot get x minus b dot get x. And for Vy, it's going to be this dot get y minus b dot get y. I think that's implosion. So if you don't like it, that's fine. We'll switch it. So that there is going to give you a Vx and Vy. It might not be a big enough one, but we'll take a look and see what that looks like. And then we'll set its velocity. I'll just scroll up a little bit and then run the program. We'll see what that bomb looks like. Is that an implosion? Boop. Yeah, it was an implosion. See what happened? Things got sucked into it. Boop. Yeah. It doesn't work quite as well. If you want like a more dramatic implosion, well, give it a stronger Vx times 5. I feel like we're like mad scientists right now. Experimenting with like weapons of mass destruction. So it's very strange. Here we go. There's my 5 times stronger black hole generator. Boosh. Hey, that's pretty good, right? Boosh. I gotta record myself saying boosh, and then like add that as like in minim, like that sound effect. It's the best possible sound effect. Boosh. Yeah, I love it. I love it. But if we wanted to make an explosion as opposed to an implosion, we're just going the wrong way. So you can just flip this around. So we could do b minus this. And that'll look, I think, a little more bomb-like. So I'll leave it like that, but you can make your own decisions as to whether this is an imploding or exploding bomb. So I just flipped around the order of the difference that I'm taking. And so now it'll explode. Yeah. So uniformly, too. You can see like the thing sort of spreading out with like a grid-like precision. Oh, it looks so good. If you don't like that like, consistency, it's not so good. It's kind of funny because if you put the bomb on top, everything will explode downwards, which I think is fine. If you put the bomb underneath things, things will explode upwards and outwards. So that's pretty good. All right, there we go. We're blowing things up. I don't know. It's looking all right. Okay. I no longer can like reach the rest of my world, so I guess I'd have to stack boxes. This is now it's a puzzle game. Maybe I could jump off of I could do like a rocket jump where I could jump off of the exploding pieces. See if I can. I don't think I can make that happen. I am not capable. Oh, I had a box get up there. No, I don't know. I can't do it. Anyways, there you go. Hey, folks, we just made an FBomb object. It is just an FBox, but it has a built-in timer, and it has some task that it does. And it still has all the stuff of FBox can do, right? It's still, gravity still acts on it, and all that stuff still, works. So you can still do all the FBox stuff. But in addition, we can tell it to do its new thing. And that's going to be the theme for a lot of stuff that's coming up. I think I'll just leave it pretty much at that. The last thing I'll just mention is, in the future, we probably want to make many bombs or many Goombas or many whatever we want to make. So how are we going to do that? Well, this variable is not going to cut it. Just having a single variable for all Goombas won't work. We'll be able to add them into the world, but then only the most recently added Goomba will actually act. Kind of like our bomb, right? We can add thousands of bombs into the world, but then only the most recent one we added ends up ticking down and exploding. So eventually what we're going to do, and I don't think I'll do that today, but we're going to have to make an array list of FBombs, and we'll call it like bombs, and then we add bombs to the list, and then we'll have our own engine that will sort of do that. But you might say, wait a second. We're going to have a list for FBombs, and then we're going to have a list for Goombas, and we're going to have a list for, all these things. So no, the answer is we won't have a list for every separate thing. You can eventually just have an array list of FBoxes. And FBox is like our game object from Asteroids. And it won't be called bombs, it'll be called objects. And we'll just loop through that, and we'll use instance of to check, is it a bomb? And if it's a bomb, we'll tell it to do its thing. And if it's something else, we'll tell it to do that thing, and so on. And eventually we'll have a whole list of things, and it'll just be the engine code all over again, exactly from Asteroids or Bullet Hell, that'll be sort of driving all of our new creations. And once we have that going, then we're free to just make classes. We're free to focus on making a monster, or making a bullet, or making a trap, or switch, or teleporter. And that means all of our sort of design work is our job now. It's not really all the nitty-gritty sort of, operating with the null keyword and all these kind of annoying little details, although I kind of find them fun, and maybe you find them fun too. But eventually, we'll simplify it so that engine code does most of that work for us, and we can just focus on making new classes. So that's what's going to happen down the road. So what should you do with your last 20 minutes of class? Well, make something new with your bomb, I guess. You might be tempted just to kind of play with the bomb. And I wouldn't be too sad if that happened. If that was all you did with the class is just blew stuff up, it would be totally okay. But if you wanted to sort of go a little bit further with this, then I would suggest experiment with FBomb. Make it different. Add on, oh, you know what would be really good? We should do this. We should make a visible timer on the bomb. Make it like count down. It would use the text function, and it would have to put the text where the bomb is. But in your act function, you could use text to print the text on the bomb itself. You could type in, the timer, and then you got to figure out like the X and Y coordinates, and you probably have to set the fill for the text timer and so on. But you can make yourself a timer. You could add a image of a bomb. So instead of a stupid orange box, I don't know what color C4 is, but people that play like Call of Duty, or maybe not Call of Duty, like CS:GO, I bet know what C4. What color is C4? Is it brown? Brownish. There you go. And then you could have go find a picture of a bomb on the internet. That'll probably flag you on some kind of FBI watch list as you search up bomb on Google. But, yeah, we'll probably have like a whole school assembly as a result after, people start searching bomb. But anyways, I'm sure it'll be okay. So, add something interesting to your bomb. And if you would prefer, make it something a bit different from a bomb. You want to make it an implosion? Make it an implosion. Have a black hole sort of sucking things in. Think about what you want to do with that bomb and just kind of change it. The important thing isn't the bomb itself, it's interacting with this class and seeing how this class works. Adding on a new instance variable. If you could think of an explosion radius. So you could sort of set that. That would be awesome experience generating programming right now. Sort of experiment with this kind of stuff. If you are seeing how this is similar to asteroids or to bullet hell, then you are there. You're ready. But I don't expect everyone to be there. If you're if you got a little bit lost with all the null pointer stuff and maybe just haven't really had a chance to kind of process this yet in your own mind, then totally understandable. But try to go in that direction. Try to remember that this is very similar to that code exactly. Anyways, thanks everybody.